There are days that I feel like a dinosaur. Not this kind of dinosaur. Let me explain. Last week my iPhone turned 1 year old, and it got me thinking about how, in terms of technology and new media, I'm a little behind the times. Before my iPhone, I'd only ever owned one phone. This phone. Yep, I've had this thing for about 6 years. It's been through my high school graduation, my college years, and my first steps into the real world. While my friends were upgrading to Motorola Razrs and Blackberries, I continued to use my little LG flip phone, whose most exciting feature was the free game of Tetris that came with the phone. I never felt the need to upgrade. I was of the opinion that as long as my phone functioned as a phone, believe it or not, there was a time when phones were used solely for making calls to people. Then I didn't need the extra stuff. The fancy ringtones, the games, or the ability to check and send emails. Turns out that the ability to check and send emails became increasingly important as I transitioned into my real-world job in academia. So last year I finally caved and got an iPhone. I didn't want to become another smartphone zombie, but when you have the vast world of the internet readily available at your fingertips, it's hard not to become one. I love you, iPhone. I wish I knew how to quit you. I am by no means excusing my smartphone zombie behavior. Obviously, physical human interaction is way more valuable than anything to come out of your smartphone. However, if you do see me exhibiting such behavior, especially in the presence of friends, feel free to take my phone away from me. Just don't hurt it. Please? So I had my iPhone for a year, and in that time I've come to the realization that I am still a freaking dinosaur. Just to give you an idea of how much of a technology dinosaur I am, I present to you Exhibit A. This ancient artifact is my first and only laptop, which I got 7 years ago as a freshman in college. Along with the dings and scratches on its exterior, it runs on Windows XP. I've never replaced the battery, so it only works when I have it plugged in. And yes, that sound is the internal fan, which kinks in about 5 minutes after turning on the laptop because apparently powering it up is already too much for the laptop to handle. Yeah, I need a new laptop. But anyway, back to how smartphones make me feel like a dinosaur. So you know how with smartphones, you can use your social media apps to give real-time updates from anywhere at any time? Provided you have good Wi-Fi or fast 3G and 4G. And, perhaps more interestingly, you can use these same apps to check in on any person, whether they're friends or famous celebrities, anytime you want. For the longest time I resisted signing up for Twitter and Tumblr and Instagram, because in my mind, I saw these as time wasters. Did I really need real-time updates of this celebrity's trip to the grocery store, or several GIFs of the same cat, or pictures of German chocolate cake that looked like they were taken with a Polaroid? But having a smartphone slowly opened me up to the idea that maybe this was an archaic way of thinking, and perhaps these social media apps were more useful than I had originally thought. More often than not, I now find myself checking certain Twitters and Tumblrs for the latest updates on things that I care about, from politics to sports to entertainment. It makes me wonder if I should just give in and create accounts for these sites, considering how often I check them. I don't know. What do you guys think? As a society that's rapidly evolving into one that overshares information in real time, is it becoming necessary to be linked into all these social media outlets, especially if you want to keep up with the times? Or are we becoming too dependent on these social media? Would it be that difficult to disconnect once in a while? And finally, should I get a Twitter and Tumblr? Based on your experience, what are the pros and cons? If you have any insight that would help my decision, I would love to hear it. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next week.